Thank you, Troy. Appreciate you having me here. Once again, my name is LaPointe. I'm the Director of Business Partnerships for Ticket Galaxy. I'll just give you a brief background on me. I'm a little bit of an anomaly in the secondary market where I spent the first 12 years of my career on the primary side, tickets specifically, where I started with the Miami Heat, inside sales back in 2002, worked into an account executive, senior account executive, went up the path I think a lot of you guys probably have into an inside sales manager, director of ticket sales, all that good stuff. Making the switch over to the other side of the tracks, so to speak, was, I kind of looked at it a couple of different ways. I think throughout my career, I've had several dealings with the secondary market, with brokers, whether they be street brokers or, brokerages, companies that were, buying and reselling tickets, to the mom and pop shops, kind of the guys working in their basements on MacBooks with an Amex, those kind of guys. So I've had kind of dealings with all those different groups of people, groups of business people. Some people that do it really right, some people that did it really wrong. Been kind of screwed over a couple of times in a couple of different places I've been with tickets and kind of learned some valuable lessons there. But I've always got a liking to the way people market tickets, whether they be secondary or primary, and really enjoyed kind of how the ebbs and flows of how that works. So that's a little bit about me. Also right outside Boston, Massachusetts. So if there's any Sox fans in here want to talk later, we'll talk pitching. Probably not, but we need pitching. So a little bit about Ticket Galaxy, the company that I work for. So right now we're based in South Windsor, Connecticut, right outside of Hartford. We're a large company. We're over 100 employees full time, which is large for a secondary market acquisition, ticket acquisition company. Started technically in 1988, but have really rebranded ourselves into Ticket Galaxy over the last 5 years and really grew significantly over that time. We do well over, we're projected to do about $200 million in sales this year, and sell over 2 million tickets on the secondary. So that's a big stance. We're definitely a big player in the game. There are similar companies like us as well, but we like to call ourselves the largest. I don't know if there's really numbers to put that against, but we do have a big portfolio throughout sport, concert, theater, pretty much anything that's ticketed. So we basically work with, on the partnership side, over 120 plus professional teams, primarily in the Big Four, NBA, NHL, MLB, NFL, say NFL. But we've also have been diving into MLS, the golf tournaments, tennis. We have a partnership with the Rogers Cup, the US Open, things of that nature, some Olympics, and then 50 plus collegiate programs, NCAA programs. I would say the NCAA stuff, I spoke at NATSO a couple of weeks ago, and it's taken a little bit longer to kind of adapt to what the secondary market and the consolidation partnership process has kind of evolved into. A lot of red tape on the colleges. If anybody here works in the NCAA, you guys know that. So they're a little bit behind, but they're getting there. So I think we're going to up our partnership totals in the NCAA soon. So we also do deals with Live Nation, deals with Spectra. So we're pretty much involved, pretty much any of your ticketing needs, we are distributing amongst all the major market distribution channels, the StubHubs, Ticket Network, Vivid Seats, SeatGeek, Fan Evolution, all these different secondary platforms and channels that you guys see commercials for, the Ticket Oak and all that other good stuff that all the marketing, the great marketing that these companies do, we're actually the ones supplying them with their tickets. So that's pretty much how that works. So quick overview, if I can figure out how this thing works. There we go. Like I said, we partner with 120 plus professional teams. The overview on the secondary market as a whole, the secondary market last year did $6.3 billion in revenue. So that's a big number, as you can imagine. Projected growth to just under $16 billion by 2020. So it's growing fast. There's really incredible ways of marketing and thinking about how consumers like to purchase, ways that young consumers like to purchase their tickets, their product, whatever. I think the secondary market definitely does a really good job at identifying that and making it as easy as possible. Distribution channels, Ticket Galaxy obviously being one, Ticket Network, StubHub, Ticketmaster, secondary distribution channel as well. Vivid Seats, Tickets Now, etc., SeatGeek. Some of these other very apt online mobile-friendly distribution channels are are ways people like to buy. So consumer reach. So the secondary market channels received over 300 million visits last year. So that is a significant number. Anybody that deals in mobile ticketing or apps or online presence, you look at your potential reach. 300 million is an unbelievable number. So event access. So most professional teams in colleges are aligned with a secondary partner. When you are aligned with a partner, you're basically guaranteeing that there are going to be tickets available in some capacity. So if your event is sold out completely on the primary, you can direct people to your partner's site, and they can ensure that they are, getting themselves tickets to your game or event. So, and then lastly, concerns. Obviously, the negative connotation that kind of sticks with the secondary market, the street scalper. Type of person that might be hanging outside your arena and flipping tickets for $10 over or whatever it is, and just trying to make $500 or a couple $100 outside your game and getting chased away by the cops. That's slowly but surely dwindling down. There's much bigger companies coming into place, businesses, smart analytical companies that do things the right way, and are partnering with these teams, understanding that you want an array. Drew Cloud was just on a panel with me earlier. He said the primary and the secondary are pretty much the same thing at this point. You look at the 76ers, they just did a deal through StubHub that's going to marry the two. So when you're looking at the primary, you're also looking at the secondary, and vice versa. So I think that's going to be a trend moving forward. Takes big steps to get into that trend, but I think it's going to be happening as a lot sooner than we probably all think it will. So why work with the secondary market? Attendance is one, butts and seats, right? The ancillary revenues that you guys are receiving from people actually attending your games, buying 4 hot dogs, 4 beers, some merch, parking, all those other things that you guys are picking up, that's all, attributed to butts and seats. So the ticket is being sold, it's guaranteed to be sold at whatever price it's being sold at, and then that person is, most of the time, coming through. Our scan rates are very, very high. People are buying individual game tickets from us, so 9 times out of 10, they're not just going to buy an individual ticket from us and not show up to the game. So the tickets that we are selling, fans are, the gate scans are showing that fans are going to those games and buying all your ancillary products and spending money there that you guys can recognize. So predictability. So, you're locking yourselves in with a guaranteed sale or guaranteed sales up front to protect yourself against a potential bad season. So we all work in a roller coaster business, right? So we never know what's going to happen. The team could start off really highly projected to do really well. All of a sudden, your star pitcher gets hurt. Team starts to crumble a little bit. Sales start to crumble a little bit. You get yourself in a partnership where you've allocated 1,000 seats, 2,000 seats, whatever it is, to a secondary partner that you're working very closely with. Those seats are bought and paid for. That secondary market partner took on the risk before the season started. It's guaranteed revenue. It's guaranteed butts and seats. So, that kind of predictability is unbelievable. It's an unbelievable kind of thing to catch up, thing to have in your back pocket, ultimately, when you're asked by upper management, where are we here? What are we doing here? Why aren't we at this number, et cetera? Easier sales process. So like I said before, the secondary does a very good job at marketing tickets and making ease of sale for the consumer the best it can be. So it's as simple as click of an app, your information's already stored all the way through. It might be 1 click, 2 clicks on your phone, your ticket's there, easy to enter games. The primary really hasn't caught up to exactly what the secondary can do. You're filling in information, you might have a login, you might have a password, you're going down the list, you gotta enter your credit card information again. People just don't wanna do that. They want a quick process, they wanna be able to buy when they wanna buy. If it's 2 o'clock in the morning, if it's 10 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is, they want their ticket delivered, they want the seat they want the price they want to pay. So the secondary takes those factors into account, really builds their software around that, and the marketplaces, like I said before, the StubHubs, the major ones, they do it really right. So inventory availability. So fans have access to tickets even when primary is sold out. We already talked about that, getting the best seats, getting the seats that you want at the price you want to pay with ease of access. And then better bottom line, you're earning more revenue per ticket. I think pricing predictability is something a secondary partner can really help you with. When you're determining your pricing, it's a lot of guesswork. You're looking at the analytics, but it's a lot of guesswork. I think sometimes we get caught up in being in the inside, and I'm definitely guilty of this. maybe thinking our product is a little bit different than it actually is. But the secondary is going to tell you exactly what it's worth and what somebody's willing to pay for it. So you go to sites like SeatGeek, some of these Predictability, some of these, they're going to show you exactly what's a value, what's not, what somebody's willing to pay, what an average ticket price, sale price is for this particular game, this particular seat, and you can dynamically price accordingly. So it's really going to help you out with that pricing and ultimately give you a better bottom line, more closer to where you need to be lined up. So what should you be looking for in a partner? So I think number one is professional approach. You definitely, if you're looking for a secondary partner, you definitely want to be properly researching and vetting out the potential partner. And that goes from making sure the referrals are in check, the good and the bad, having them out to your arena or stadium or offices for a face-to-face meeting, understanding, knowing the people you're going to be directly working with, the management of that company, and our president's here and our VP, and we take these trips all the time. Understanding exactly who you are dealing with and making sure that operation is on the up and up, and they're going to be handling your inventory the way you want it handled, because that's ultimately what it comes down to. You're basically handing off X million dollars worth of inventory, and that's got to be treated fairly, and that's got to be treated appropriately, and we can't have bad scans and double sales and all those other things that happen at the gate sometimes when you're selling tickets to brokers that are faceless, and you really don't know who you're selling to. They have no skin in the game when it comes to the customer showing up at the gate and the sale not working out, and half the time you can't find them, so they can't reissue the ticket, etc., and bad things happen, and it looks really bad for you ultimately. So operational excellence, we talk about audited financials. That's a big thing. So ultimately, when you're looking for a partner, you really want to choose a company that's been properly audited. In this business, you guys are asking for an upfront investment, right? That upfront investment might be $1.2, $1.5, $2 million, hundreds of thousands of dollars, whatever it may be. That company needs to be able to pay that bill when that bill is due. And there really can't be any excuses, because it puts you in a bad place, either with your management team that agreed to let you do this deal, or just you as a company that needs to hit revenue numbers for ownership. You need to be working with a company that's professionally audited, third party, that can prove and show you their books and show you their financials, and that they're solvent enough to be able to pay their bills and pay their bills on time when they're due. So very important. Vested interest. I talk about that because I think it's also important to be working with a company that is 100% vested in the ticket risk and investment that they're making with you. And why I say that is, this is a game. It's very, very similar to the stock market, secondary market tickets in some sense. And some companies play it that way. Take outside investments, manage the product, pay out the investments, make money on services, what have you. I think a company that's completely 100% vested in your ticket inventory, has come out of pocket or come out of company to pay that bill, is going to care a hell of a lot more about your tickets, in my opinion. So I think that's very important, making sure that the company has a vested interest. Ask those questions. And then the internally funded, we talk about deal terms and trust. I think that comes down to it. Make sure you structure the deal that is in the best interest of you, understanding that you are working with another business, so it can't be as completely one-sided as you might want it. But I think that there is definitely some give and take, and there's some things that you should hold firm on, and then there's other things that can be negotiated. And I think a fair deal can be had by most teams with a partner. So the deal elements. So number one is identifying the inventory that you want out there. So I think you got to really take a really good look at where you currently rest, where you currently sit on the secondary market. Is it the Wild West? Is it just there's broker accounts out there, you have no idea, they're being resold, you're getting bad scans at the gate, but you just no idea how to identify them. I think you really have to invest in either internally determining who your quote-unquote reseller accounts are, flagging them appropriately, or hiring maybe a secondary market company. We do this kind of consulting to determine who your secondary market accounts or reseller accounts are, flagging those appropriately. Then you have a number, and then I think you basically have to determine, are you comfortable with that number being out on the secondary market, call it 3,000 seats, whatever your arena might hold, a percentage of your arena or stadium being on the secondary. What number are you comfortable with ultimately being resold? So that's the number you want to start with. Okay, I'm comfortable with 3,000. You go to your prospective partners, I would ask the question, what do you guys feel the market can hold? We're ultimately the ones that are looking at it every single day, so we know it's probably going to be lower than the number that you feel, to be honest with you. Could be higher, in some cases it is, but in most cases it is a little bit lower. A flooded market is a bad market for everybody. So, the more tickets that are out there for sale, the less demand's going to be. So you want to make sure that you're at kind of the tipping point for tickets that are out there and available. So determining that and then kind of working your product, your partnership around that number is kind of the first step. So I think every deal should probably encompass some sort of revenue share. There's a lot of potential money to be made. Obviously, the risk is being made up front, and the risky investment is being made up front financially by the secondary partner. But on the back end of the deal, we're willing to ride the roller coaster ride with you guys, right? So if the team's not doing well, we're willing to kind of deal with that on the bottom line. If the team's doing well, we want to take that upward spin with you guys and make money on those tickets in the regular season. Where real money can be made, obviously, is potentially a playoff run. So if you get lucky and you get a team, you're with a team. Obviously, you guys have been associated with teams with playoff runs. Some of you not. But when that team is really, the market's just electric. When you're a secondary market partner and you hold the majority of the inventory on the secondary market, the sky's really the limit, right? You can really control pricing, be as aggressive as you want, be as not aggressive as you want. Really, price it to where you want it to be, and you're the only game in town. It means good things. So there should be a profit share involved in that. So structure your deals with some sort of profit share. Your partner should probably offer that up front, whatever that profit share may be, a fair number, and share the wealth at the end of the deal. There's also potential for some performance bonuses. If you do make a playoff run, you get to the Stanley Cup Finals. You get to the NBA, Eastern Conference Finals. That partner's going to make a lot of money on that. You guys should be compensated, not you personally, but your team should be compensated for that as well. So there should be performance bonuses in those deals. We call them playoff bonuses or play-in bonuses, what have you, and a structured number, an agreed-upon number that as you get to this round, that number goes up. Those are revenue streams that you're not normally recognizing. That's money that you can put towards tickets for the following year, that you can put towards anything. I don't know what your owner can do whatever he wants or she wants with it. So that's another thing that should be included in deals. Data, big part of this. So the secondary market currently just consumes data, right? We're getting data from all different areas. I would say probably 50-60% of it we don't even use. We don't have any need for. We're not necessarily an aggressive phone selling B2C type of business. We do all our sales online. So we rely on the bigger distribution channels, the marketplaces, to market for us and to market our tickets for us, the StubHubs, and they do a very good job. They spend a lot of money doing it. We're just supplying them with the inventory and pricing it. So we're getting all this data. We'll gladly give it to teams if they want it. We've basically determined over the past couple of years as we've been doing these partnerships, the data is really where these deals become true partnerships. The sharing of this data, having weekly calls with one another, talking about what things are priced at, the ebbs and the flows, your team performance, et cetera, on the secondary compared to, other things, et cetera, what other trends we're seeing, and then also having what we call a data portal for you to be able to log on to and see your sales numbers on the secondary in real time, anytime you want. Very important to be able to have that access for you guys. What you do with that data is ultimately up to you. My recommendation would be to use it to your advantage for dynamic pricing purposes. We're telling you what your seats are worth. Might be a little tough sometimes for people to stomach. They might think that their tickets are worth a little bit more, but they might be missing the boat in some areas. We might be selling tickets 40-50% over. I had a conversation before this meeting where they were missing the target by about $40 a seat. You multiply that by 1,000, 2,000, it's big money. It's big revenue on a per game basis. So you can make pricing adjustments on the fly. If you can't, you wait till the following year, you reprice accordingly. Take that data for what it's worth. We're also able to sometimes give you guys customer data, which for all you salespeople is hot leads, right? You're buying a customer that's interested in your product, going to a game, paid over the face value potentially, package plan holder, group sales leader, season ticket holder, whatever it may be. That's prime candidate for a warm call. I also recommend, and I wrote a blog about this that hopefully you guys will see through Troy, but is utilizing your secondary partner's seats as sales leads. So during the game, we're constantly challenged. What are we supposed to be doing during the game? Okay, we do these 5 visits, then we're stuck, watching a couple plays, and then we're just kind of walking around, and we're standing over the popcorn that's spilled in the concourse, waiting for housekeeping to come, and all the other stuff that goes on during the game. Utilizing that time, understanding that Section 113, Row C, seats 1 through 4 are owned by my secondary market partner. Chances are, somebody different is in those seats every single game. Through our weekly calls and our data, you know that we're selling that ticket 30, 40, 50% over. So that person is paying a significant overage on that ticket every single game, that new group of people. That's an unbelievable sales opportunity for you guys. Use those. Go see those people. Put a note in their seat. Bring them down a gift. Whatever you need to do to gather that lead, that is a potential ticket holder for you and a season ticket holder and maybe even a premium holder. Somebody with that kind of money, they might just be a 1-game person, but you guys might be selling a 5-game pack or a 10-game pack, or you baseball people, all these different mini plans. It's an opportunity. So use that. Talk to us about it. We're happy to give you their information if we have it, and if we can legally, we'll happily give you that information so you can contact them specifically. But use that in-person experience to really get in front of those people. You know who they are. You should be introducing yourself for sure. And then the sponsorship marketing assets, we've really just started this over the past couple of years, investing in other revenue streams for the team, sponsorships, basically, allocating a percentage of the deal, not only to just a ticket buy, but a sponsorship of some sort. So putting our name on, and that's really up to the team, how opaque they want the deal to be. Do they want it to kind of be, okay, we're doing this deal, we're not gonna make a big deal about it, or are we gonna be real true partners, be out there, we're gonna have the opportunity to sponsor your golf tournament, put some signage up, whatever it may be. There's some primary deals might have a little issue with, our Ticket Galaxy banner up in your arena when you're dealing with Ticketmaster, but there's other things that we can invest in that might make sense for your marketing partnership team to talk about. So let's see. Oop. Okay, and the last one. So that's pretty much it for me. Open it up for some questions. If anybody has them. Shoot.
Where do you see this going in terms of the minor league market? Obviously, like being a Sox fan, I'm very familiar with these tickets.
Yep.
Where I would go because normally, it would be a sellout. Like it'd be hard to get good box seats on RedSox.com.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think for the minor leagues, we do some business with the AHL, with some of the teams. If there's a need for it, we're there and we're happy to make the investment. I think there's opportunities for some consignment, maybe on a smaller scale. I think with the minors, it's a little bit more challenging move on the secondary, but it's marketable. So I think there's opportunity there for sure. When I say consignment, a lot of teams will utilize us for some distressed inventory. Just opens up their distribution channels, right? They're so targeted on where they can distribute right now. Those seats become stale and they just don't go anywhere. So if we can open it up and really put them everywhere, 10, 12, 20, 30 different places across hundreds of different websites, that availability is valuable because somebody's going to come across those seats eventually that might have never seen them through TM or one of the other primary channels. So we are a small marketplace. We have our own retail site. We aren't a StubHub style marketplace or a Ticket Network style marketplace. We're first and foremost an inventory acquisition company. So we acquire big amounts of inventory and partner with teams and then supply back the data and pricing information, all that stuff back to them. But we distribute through those marketing channels. So.
If I am just a regular fan,
We have taken on, sure, we could post tickets for sale on TicketGalaxy.com on a one-to-one basis. Yeah, we can do that.
I work for a venue.
Yep.
Our biggest channel is the secondary.
The distribution channel, yeah. Yeah.
People show up,
Yeah. Yeah. Having kind of a safety point that you're affiliated with, yeah, understand. You know where it's going, right? Yeah, I mean, the barcode validation question comes up a million times. Companies pay big money for that and have that integration for your barcodes and be able to make e-tickets, et cetera. Yeah, sure, we definitely are in that area as well. We're not quite obviously as big as a StubHub or Ticket Network in that sense, but sure. Yeah, it's funny you say that. So, our marketing has taken on a new approach. We've certainly started entering the world of festivals and some other things. We've been in the EDM world over with O.co, with Super City, and we were a prime sponsor there and handled all their VIP ticketing, and then some other festivals as well. We're really trying to think outside the box about different events and venues and things like that we can partner with. But sure, the concert business, promoter business, I think if you look at the way concerts are now being held, some guys will tell you that the artists, that's where they make all their money, right? They're not making money in records anymore, so they need to go on tour and they need to be able to control their ticket prices and their ticket distribution. So in some cases, yeah, promoters will come to the secondary and try to partner with the secondary provider, offer VIP packages, things like that they don't necessarily want to put on the primary. So sure, we do that.
Did you have an article last week regarding the venue and Achatz controlling the ticket and trying to move to transparency?
Yeah, that was Don Vaccaro, actually, our CEO, the CEO of Ticket Network, that wrote that for the New York Times. So, I don't know if it'll really have that much of an effect on the secondary. I think it might affect artist perception a little bit. I think ultimately this is a big money game for these artists. They have to maximize, but they also have a PR standpoint that they have to stand by, and they have to have a certain perception of themselves out there, and they really don't want to get involved in it. It's why they have managers and promoters, etc. But those conversations are